I'll find your peace of mind for you. You. Oh, you.
Into the darkness we'll find our freedom. Our hearts are one and together they beating. Stars they are falling and not so appealing. This feels like love and love feels like healing. Anticipation slowly is building. We'll find our peace in this night so revealing. This is the moment, I hear it calling. We'll sit together and watch as the stars they are falling for you.
They're falling, they're falling.
She's calling.
Don't worry.
In the lights of my garden, said, "Call myself, darling." I'll find you peace of mind for you. There was a bright color, darling. In the lights of my garden, said, "Call myself, darling."
I'll find your peace of mind for you. You. You.
When my levels of stress reach the peak of their crest, I smell the flowers in their hand, feel the lightness of a dress. I lay my head down and feel your heart through your chest. We can breathe it in together, we can blow on at the best. You tend to my worries, all my troubles and dreams. We can bury them together, always knowing one thing. If it comes from the earth, it's a rebirth that sings. And if it comes to fall apart, it's a new start that brings, yeah. We're
Falling, we're falling.
she's
Falling, falling. There was a bright color garden in the lights of my garden.
said, "Call myself, darling. I'll find your peace of mind for you." There was a bright color, darling.
In the lights of my garden.
Said, "Call myself, darling. I'll find your peace of mind for you. You. Oh,
You.
we walked alone inside our garden. She showed me all the things I knew I do, I knew I do. We walked alone inside our garden. Ooh.
Hopefully,
There was a bright color garden.
in the lights of my garden,
Said, "Call myself, darling."
I'll find your peace of mind for you. There was a bright color garden.
In the lights of my garden.
Hey, good morning.
Call myself, darling.
Yeah.
Find your peace of mind for you.
You. You.
Need a Jeep? Take it away, Captain. I am on my 5th Jeep with Leota. Jeep is like rock and roll.
Cause every day could be a holiday. The push-up man, they just got away. And when that golly gonna come around, and when it comes, we're gonna burn it down. He don't stay here for a long time, but when it comes, we'll have a good time. And we just stay right here all day. And I just want you to feel, say, lift me up. Say, we just gotta run it back. Lift me up. Yeah, I think I need another drag. Lift me up. Yeah, lead me around the back. Tomorrow comes and we run dry. I only need to cut it one time. It don't take long for him to show. And when it comes, you know we gotta move. He don't stay here for a long time, but when it comes, we'll have a good time. We can stay right here all day, and I just want you to hear, say, lift me up. Say, just got a brand new bag. Yeah, I said, lift me up. Yeah, think you need another drag. Lift me up. Yeah, leave me around the bag.
Well, I mean, if they're aware, then they want us to call them out, right? If all else fails, yeah. Which apparently, think about it. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's chilly and crisp out there.
We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute. So everybody slow down. Your life is beautiful. Let's all take a moment now. Let's just try to breathe it in. Let's go get some feelings out. Let's try to remember what it felt like to be young and free. Yeah, those days are gone, but there'll be better ones ahead, you'll see. And it's been on my mind, it's been on my mind. It takes up all my time, oh yeah, all my time. And we were searching for some things that we may never find. But in the end, yeah, I know it's all love. We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute. So everybody slow down. We all headed to the same place. So we better get to living. We only here for a minute. So everybody slow down. I see mountains in the distance, yeah, they calling me. Open river, waterfall, run from everything. I think about getting away every day. And it's been on my mind, it's been on my mind. It takes up all my time, oh yeah, all my time. And we were searching for some things that we may never find. But in the end, yeah, I know it's all love. We all running in the same race. Ain't nobody winning. We only here for a minute. So everybody slow down. We all headed to the same place. So we better get to living. We only here for a minute. So everybody slow down. Slow down. Slow down. deserves more performance with every drive. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. A fuel like no other. More performance with every drive.
Oh no, you think that you know me? You don't know shit about me, homie. I'm on a cliff hanging over. I'm so Sylvester Stallone. I got a problem with people drinking and smoking without inviting me over. To me, that shit's just provoking. Oh yeah, I'm on the good one that won't go down. Roll around in my stomping ground. Eyes closed, your head's bobbing. I care not about no problem. Yeah, you don't know nothing about me.
Well, someone in class was asking, so why don't Western medicine doctors suggest or prescribe a probiotic with antibiotics, which they very much should. This has gone on for decades. I know everyone. Yeah, take a deep breath. So Western medicine doctors do not routinely prescribe probiotics with antibiotics due to mixed scientific evidence regarding their effectiveness, lack of standardized potential for delaying gut microbiome recovery, and the fact that they are regulated as supplements rather than prescription drugs. Right, so when you start to understand these things, so it's okay, yeah, start applying that to some other things. Right, so this has gone on for quite some time. Yeah, but trust your doctor. Do what your doctor says. Get retarded. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, thank you so much.
Bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell, and we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better.
I've been down to the bottom and I've been up to the top. But I prefer the middle cause my mind, it cannot stop thinking. My highs are highs and my lows are lows. I wish that I could find some ground to just slow down and grow. But maybe it's extremes that I need, please. And maybe it's the nature of my beast, please. I grab onto the good times and push away the bad. But holding on just uses all the energy I've had. I know, it's hard sometimes. But I know the sun will shine. Cause
Bad days gonna get better. Bad days gonna get better. 'Cause the rain already fell, and we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Weather ain't the same the day after it rains. It's so fresh, you can feel the sunshine, heal the rain. The way that the wind blows slow through my window, the glow from the stained glass, beautiful and simple, reminds me that yes, we all just need a breath. And yes, sometimes this life can feel just like a mess, but I'm just out here living for the good days and bad, and I'ma give it everything I
sometimes. It's gonna get better.
Bad days
Gonna get better.
Cause the rain already fell, and we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Gonna be alright. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Gonna be alright. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Gonna be alright. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Gonna be alright. Bad days, bad days, bad days.
Come, hard times go, it'll all get better. Hard times come, hard times go, it'll all get better now.
Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days. 'Cause the rain already fell, and we already been through hell. Bad days gonna get better. Bad days, bad days, bad days.
I'm not letting relapsing MS disrupt my life. My treatment choice? Boom. That's Kesimpta.
It's proven to reduce relapses and slow disability progression. Plus, it's the only B-cell treatment I can take at home.
Or take with me. Boom, that's Kesimpta.
No pre-treatment with steroids or infusion days. It's an auto-injector pen that's just once a month.
Don't take if you've had an allergic or life-threatening reaction to Kesimpta or have hepatitis B. You'll be tested for Hep B before treatment, as it could return. Serious side effects, including infections and PML, a rare brain infection, can occur and may be fatal or cause severe disability. Tell your doctor about your medical history, including liver problems, plans for vaccines, and pregnancy. It's not known if it will harm your unborn baby. You'll be monitored for a decrease in certain antibodies and liver function, as it may cause liver damage. Most common side effects are upper respiratory infection, headache, and injection reactions, including swelling, itching, pain, skin redness, fever, headache, muscle pain, chills, and tiredness.
Ask your doctor about Kesimpta. Boom.
Ah, Mozart. I came to Vienna to fight for the Imperial Opera.
Diminish the man, diminish the god.
Oof, my goodness.
Long hair don't care about nothing, man. Out here all day head hunting, yeah. Make way when you hear me come strumming, man. Sounds so good, got your head red rumming, yeah. Listen to me now, listen to me carefully. And I'ma tell you about the birds and the honeybees. Learn to hear your life university. And getting low ain't nothing what it used to be. So I get high than a motherfucker all day just to keep it cool, yeah. Doing this shit my way. And I don't care for the ones who don't care for me. Have a bitch of summer, man. Thanks for the memories. Listen to me now, listen to me real good. People out there ain't living like they should now. And I get high than a motherfucker all day just to keep it cool, yeah. Doing this shit my way. I'ma do whatever I want. I'ma do whatever I like. I'ma do whatever feels good. And I'ma do whatever feels right. Always before you cross the line. There's no turning back the hands of time. It's a new day, yeah, it's a new dawn. I need some new shit, yeah, I need a new song. Been a long time coming, man, I'm out here staring at the skies, go wide with my hands out. Now I'm high than a motherfucker
talking all day just to keep it cool, yeah, doing this in my way. I'ma do whatever I want. I'ma do whatever I like. I'ma do whatever feels good. And I'ma do whatever feels right. Please before you cross the line. There's no turning back the hands of time. End of the day, feel it right. We on my way to the end of the night. I'm on my own in the darkest sky. We on my way on through the night. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
And as I'll tell you something else. Was ya? Get that? Thank you very much.
End of the day, feel it right. We on my way to the end of the night. I'm on my own in the darkest sky. We on my way on through the night.
No, there was that other kind I wanted to try. I haven't tried that kind yet. I'm gonna make those. Yummy.
At YoPlay, we always select the best strawberries. Perfect.
That Zelensky only agreed to a little, very limited ceasefire, which is the one right here that encompasses only Red Square. I don't think it's a ceasefire across the entirety of the country. I think that was just simply not accurate.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. And also, folks, you know, the president says all kinds of stuff and it doesn't end up being accurate. So don't ever, I gotta say, folks, as a rule of thumb these days, if the president says something, take that with the smallest grain of salt. There's probably only about 5 to 10% of it's true, and the rest of it's either, you know, puffery and sales talk or hyping it up or just not even true. So I have to make sure to cover that base with everyone, because as far as we go for analytical and news reporting and analysis purposes, we can't really take anything he says at face value. We have to heavily discredit most of it, because most of it probably isn't true, and we have a pretty decent receipt and record track of that being the case. But that seems to be what the Ukrainians are working off of right now, is just a ceasefire tomorrow for the 9th of May, and literally just including the physical parameters of the Red Square. Everything else is fair game according to the Ukrainians. And a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. And Matthew, what are people thinking about that, and what are you thinking about it?
Okay, so in addition to this very limited ceasefire around Red Square only, which is around where they're having the parade inside of Moscow, Russia is going to be shutting off the internet as well inside of Moscow. As they said, they don't want any messages getting out, so that sounds very Soviet. Also, by the way, they are not allowing any Western media of any sort to attend the parade, and they're also telling the Russian media, which is mostly state-controlled, pretty much all of it is, they're telling them that they must broadcast the parade on a long delay, so that way if anything happens, they can try to cut the broadcast, that way the people of Russia don't see a Ukrainian attack on the parade. So they are going through a whole lot of effort for a parade that literally won't have any military equipment in it. When it comes to like actual military attack equipment, there won't be any from the sounds of it. So I mean, it would have been a lot easier just to cancel the parade at this point. I mean, all this trouble for a parade without military equipment, and at this point, it's just their ego getting in the way. That's why they won't cancel it, because they'll think that's an embarrassment. They're going to let their ego put them in harm's way for the Ukrainians. But what do you think about that? 56% said Ukraine will attack outside of Moscow on the Victory Day parade, while 16% said Ukraine will not attack Russia at all. 14% said Ukraine will attack the Moscow perimeter only, and 14% said Ukraine will attack the Victory Day parade itself. And I would say out of all these options right here, I still don't believe that Ukraine's going to actually attack the parade itself. They'll probably launch attacks probably on the perimeter of the Moscow Oblast itself, not central Moscow, but the Oblast itself. They might launch some attacks there, only for the intent of disrupting the parade. Because imagine, if any drones start flying anywhere inside of Russia, the Russians are going to panic. They're going to assume that it's probably coming for the parade, and they're probably going to either terminate the parade or they're going to pause it, and it's going to be an embarrassment. So I would imagine Ukraine will disrupt it, but they're not going to actually hit it because that would be probably unwise. But Enforcer, what say you?
They're going to hit everywhere but Moscow. I can promise you all that with a guarantee. They're going to get close probably to Moscow, and a lot of drones are going to be skirting around Moscow, but they're probably not going to conduct daytime attacks on the parade. Literally, also on top of that, they declared a ceasefire for the parade, and the Ukrainians generally are people of their word. They don't really break anything that they say that they're going to do. They never go out of their way to break it. So I'd have a feeling they're not going to attack the parade. They're not going to attack Moscow. They're going to attack, let me see here, let me think. Let me begin the list. Bryansk, Kursk, Belgorod, Voronezh, Lizki, Rosso, Borisglevsk, Rostov-on-Don, Novocherkassk, Shaki, Krasnodar, Tuapse, Novorossiysk, the Taman oil port, Kerch, Sevastopol, Simferopol, Yekaterinburg, Melitopol, Donetsk, Luhansk, Volgograd, Saratov, Ingles, Toyati, Samara, and Syzran, Ulyanovsk, most likely Naberezhny, Chelny, Nizhnekamsk, Izhevsk and Votkinsk, Yekaterinburg, Chelyabinsk, Ufa, Orsk, all the surrounding towns around Orsk, St. Petersburg, Primorsk, Ust-Luga, and about a couple of other dozen targets. Those will all be on the menu, and a pretty decent likelihood a lot of them will probably end up getting attacked. But Moscow will not be attacked. Because think about it, folks. What does that achieve for Ukraine if they disrupt the parade militarily? Nothing really. So why in the world would they go and bomb that? Because there's a huge amount of risk in trying to bomb it, and then what the Russian response might be, and there's very little reward, rather than just disrupting the parade, which strategically really doesn't do much for Ukraine. On the other hand, though, if they blow up 50 refineries, very low risk, incredibly high reward, where they're materially screwing over the Russians for months afterwards, because now they're hemorrhaging gas supplies like there is no tomorrow, and they don't even have a way to refine anything until they get those refineries back up and running. So that is a lot better of an outcome than trying to attack the parade. So I would well be within the majority on that poll. I don't think that they're going to attack the parade. I think they're attacking everything else, because that would be a lot more beneficial for the Ukrainians and actually trying to bring this war to a conclusion. But with that, I hope that does address that well, at least the best I can, in my opinion. And we also have a couple of other details about this over the day. We did get to see a full response from the rat, more than just a 6-second comment, and I'll read you all this here, and then I'll play you all the clips so you can see his very questionable state that he is in. But he stated about Zelensky giving permission for the Russians to hold the victory parade. He said, "Of course, we don't need their permission, but it's probably a pity for the one who is trying to make fun of Victory Day and make such stupid jokes. More likely, it's a bigger issue for him, and we don't need anyone's permission to be proud of our Victory Day." Well, he didn't say that y'all had permission to be proud of the Victory Day, Mr. Rat. He actually said that y'all had permission to hold the parade, not to be proud of the day. So this guy, clearly, folks, he's had a long day. Little couple of drinks thrown back. I mean, he's having a hard time keeping it all in line. Zelensky isn't giving them permission to be proud of Victory Day. He's giving them permission to hold their dumb little parade. And from what I've heard, folks, apparently this guy was on that cruise down in Argentina. But anyways, here's the
Oh wow. Oh wow. Can y'all hear him? I can't hear him. I can't even hear him. Man, this dude right here, I mean, I guess he's got to show up for work, or otherwise Putin might get angry, and you don't want to make him angry inside of Russia. That could end ugly. But man, this dude right here is in no shape to be showing up to work. This dude right here is in tough shape. Good Lord, man. This guy can hardly talk. He can't even look up. Good Lord. And he's struggling to keep his eyelids open at this point. Look, oh dang! Look at his eyes, man. Go back where his eyes flashed up at the camera.
Oh, dude, they're almost as red as his skin.
Yeah, really, dude. This
Well,
dude's
I
eyes
think
are like
that's
straight up,
almost
like
those
there's like,
guys
where's the
too
pupil?
are
It's like
almost
entire
kinda
retina's the
shocked, like,
pupil at this
we could
point.
literally,
This dude,
like,
like, here's in tough shape.
Hold on, man. I need to go find that.
dressing
Let's see.
drab or drab and promote like
Wait, you ain't get the gift with this, man.
psychedelics and fighting all these
come
horrible
on, we gotta get a
things.
bigger
This is
screen version of
long.
this. Oh, here we go.
Right.
Dude, this was him
We
getting
don't
to
have
work
to
this morning.
recognize the benefits
Tell you what,
of those
I mean, you know, like
crazy.
I've heard that Russians,
Right,
obviously we don't know
marijuana
exactly why he's like this.
smokers,
I
devil
assume
grass.
he may
Yeah, I
be
think even
like having a
those
snoot
guys
full or
in those
something. Maybe he's just
positions,
having,
like,
maybe
know
he's
how
sick or
fucking
something.
stupid
But
it
you
is,
know,
so they're
I've
just
heard that Russians
playing the
can
role the best
apparently hold their
they
liquor
can,
pretty well,
so
and they can just drink
people
all day
can,
long,
like,
and they can
bring
still
up how
like generally function.
ridiculous that
Who knows,
is.
like who knows how much vodka it takes to get to that point inside of Russia? Who
It
knows
doesn't
how
make much
much?
sense, does it?
Probably
Right,
a lot.
unless when you start
like,
to
you know,
see,
a lot of
their-
Russians are career drinkers,
their
so it
businesses
had to be a
and
lot.
what their
You know, the liver's
vested
taking a lot of
interests are,
abuse
it's
by
like,
the time
oh,
a Russian is a
okay,
grown
well,
adult.
that's evil
But
and
anyways,
sick and
moving on from
immoral.
that, we've
How do
also
we
been
get
able to
them out of
see
the systems?
that apparently, according to the Russian
And then
Federation,
you
and
have
also
all
an
these
announcement that
people
was made
that
today, the
jump on
broadcast of the
board their
military
fear
parade from Red Square on the 9th of May will be
repeat
delayed,
whatever.
meaning that there will be a live
Trump's
delay
a
to the
pedo.
broadcast.
These
So,
lives matter,
to
those
explain
lives
a little bit of
matter.
television stuff for everyone, most shows
What kind of
have a little
takeover?
bit of a delay in between the
Electric,
time
China,
that they
Russia,
speak and the
those-
time
how
that
they
you'll
all-
see
it's
what's
like
going on
so
on the show.
uniform.
I actually hear on this
And
channel
then
we have
those
a
are the
30-second
people that are,
delay,
like,
which isn't
scared
something
there's
that
gonna
we
be a
want. We're totally fine with being
dictatorship. Are
completely
you
live,
fucking
but for some
that
reason,
dumb?
the OBS
Obviously.
YouTube system works to where there's about
They
a half-minute
depend on
delay
it.
between what we
Carry
say
on.
and what y'all hear. But beyond that, though, they're apparently going to have longer than a 5-minute delay or so in between the parade itself and the broadcast on
Well, no,
television.
that's the thing.
So
a lot of
if
like the
anything
ones in
happens,
those
they
positions
can cut
are,
the
like,
broadcast 5
whatever
minutes
you wanna
or
say,
4
you know,
minutes generally in
more
realistic terms
well-to-do people
before
that are
whatever
speaking.
happened
I like how they get
in
attacked.
real life is broadcasted nationally.
for trying to speak
Yeah, and
out
also
about
the
those
real
things.
reason why they're shutting off the internet, by the way,
They
is
try
not
to
because people can't
discredit
communicate
them.
with each other. Like most people think,
Most
oh, well,
of
they
their
want to shut off the
businesses,
internet so
pretty
that way they
bad.
can't communicate. Like there's Ukrainian operatives in the crowd or something like that. They don't want them to be able to message each other on Telegram or some messaging app. That's not the real
Oh,
reason
yeah, that if
they
you
want
try
the
to
internet
say
shut off.
anything, they'll
The
get a
real
bunch of
reason is
these
that
little
way people,
secret
the
side
Russians
groups
can't get their
after you
phones out
follow
and
the
film
little
whatever
petty
attack
things
is
they
taking
can
place
find.
and then
And
post it on the
sometimes that
internet.
gets
They want to have
invited
full
too.
control of the
People
narrative,
just
and that's why
will
only
commit
Russian
petty
media is showing
things
up,
to kind
and
of-
also they're shutting the
almost
internet
like,
off
you know,
too. They
seeing
want to have
how
full
they're going to
control
work,
where you
like
can't
letting
see anything
prisoners
the state doesn't
escape so you
approve.
can see where they're going to go.
Also,
who they're gonna work
yesterday it
with.
was announced that
Yeah, it's the
Western
same kind of
journalists
deal with
have been
those.
stripped of their accreditation for the Victory Day parade. Only
On many
Russian media
levels,
will
like,
be
you don't
allowed
have
to
to
attend.
work for anybody
So
to
once again,
kinda
trying to control the narrative as much
maneuver
as they
through
can,
that.
because they
It
don't
can
want
be more
any of those
difficult depending
pesky
on
Western journalists that are
quarters
getting
and
used to
things
free
like that.
speech, just going out there and blabbing. Oh my God, Putin ran like a
Oh,
bitch
yeah.
from the bleachers on the air raid siren.
Exactly.
Well, they don't want anyone saying that, so they're completely trying to get the whole thing screwed down as tightly as they can, so that way if anything happens at all, they control the story in every way, and also the response to it as a result. We also have been able to hear this little clip came out today. Somebody was able to make it very close to Red Square, which is all set up for the 9th of May, which is today actually in Russia. And here in a couple of hours, probably about 3 or 4 hours after our show goes off air, the actual Victory Day parade will commence. But in this clip, we actually got to see the preparations. So let's take a look.
9 мая Красная площадь перекрыта, но я втайне вам покажу, как все происходит. И теперь поближе, сейчас приближу вам, видели все, чтобы вы видели, смотрите. Вот там вот будет сидеть Путин, да, вот как раз смотрите, 9 часов.
Yeah,
Бьют
yeah,
куранты.
exactly. Yeah, that one right there.
We see
Yeah,
him
you
looking
can
at the
see some of
Kremlin
those
clock tower.
involvements of those people within the
And this guy
State
that said, look, he's
Departments
playing the Soviet anthem.
who
If that's
use
the
the
Soviet
cartel
anthem, that's the most
associations
off-key
and things
Soviet
like that to
anthem
my
I've ever heard. I
family
never
to
heard the Soviet anthem go,
get an open door for other things. It's just, it's
like I never
gotten
heard
so
that part of
sick
the song.
and
And then
disgusting
this guy
and
starts
sick and
singing the
disgusting
Soviet
to
anthem,
us.
and it's not
But
even
back
in
in
key with what the
2011,
clock tower
12,
is
and
playing. It's like,
13,
this guy
after the
is
private
very tone
investigator
deaf.
shot himself and some other people just kind of disappeared, committed suicide, got hit by Mack
Do you remember?
trucks.
No, I
Pretty
don't.
Scary.
Like, you know, like, because they haven't been around for
Yeah, when
about
you
40
take a look
years.
at that, yeah, you start to put the dots together with other things.
Now we can hear.
Oh, there's a little
Yeah,
security
as you
car,
can see, that's
little
why we
security
could
car
care
pulling up
less.
right
It's
there. You
just
saw
so
that?
much
They were creeping
noise
in
and
the
stupid
screen over there.
drama. We're concerned about the children and the hostages in the hands
Meanwhile,
of
man,
these
there's
sick
some
punks, and
Russian
we have all
up
these
there
different
at the clock tower
activists
that's literally choking
and
out one of
groups
the bells. You hear going,
involved with the victims.
it's like, listen.
and other things like that, and the targets. You know,
Or
just
like
so
a
much
damn railway
silence and
bell, like on a
stupidity.
locomotive. It's like,
It's very, very sickening and frustrating to a lot
that
of
clock
us.
tower's had better days.
I can't even begin to tell you. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, so we must be pretty strong, too, in some senses.
It's at the top of the vodka hour.
Man, it's vodka hour somewhere in Russia, which is every hour.
Like the episode of Star Trek, they're like, festival, and they start tearing the whole city up.
I've heard people say that. It's like, no, we have not drank
earlier
vodka.
in the last video that I ran, folks, in the
late
middle of the
90s,
day,
early
I actually saw this
2000s,
large
we had some
structure
bad
that appeared to have
experiences
been
with vodka
erected over
when
the
we were
Lennon Mausoleum,
teenagers.
and I said that I had never seen this
before we were put
Apparently,
on the
my
programs
eyes and
and
memory
stuff.
deceived me because this thing has existed in prior years. But what is different about it, which kind of threw me off, is that usually there's a bleacher down here, which I did state in the video. There's a bleacher off to the side here, and a bleacher right below it, and that bleacher is where Putin and all of his little dudes sit, like all of the foreign dignitaries and officials that come here to Russia to watch the May 9th parade. They all sit there. But there is no bleacher there at the moment. There's no bleacher to the side of this thing. But just to show y'all, just so that way I can make sure to eat my foot live on air about this information, there it is right there in a prior year, built over the Lenin Mausoleum, and Putin is sitting right there where my mouse cursor is at. So this thing has existed for a while, and it has been set up on Red Square every single year. But it actually threw me off in the middle of the day earlier today because I forgot about this thing because it didn't look the way I always remembered it. And I said that it may have been they had set up some sort of a bomb shelter inside of it, and this thing was more so the shroud to try and cover that up. They may have actually done that. I'm not entirely sure, though. We can't see what's behind it.
Well, I mean, what they'll do, like you see, there's like the little like opening awning thing right there. If something starts to happen, they're going to slam that thing shut like a storekeeper, like a shopkeeper with like the little like awning thing. They're going to slam that thing shut, and it probably keeps like like projectiles out. I would imagine.
Maybe. There is a reason why this temporary structure is built right where Putin and everyone else sits. It has to be for some form of protection or security or whatnot, because there's really no other reason to do that. Because back in the day, back in the Soviet times, when security was a guarantee, because, anyone who looked slightly questionable to the state was executed, they would just stand on top of the Lenin Mausoleum, and they would just watch the parade from there, with no temporary structures being built, and it just was what it was. Let me show you all that here really quickly. Maybe they have a picture of that. So this is the Lenin Mausoleum, and right up here, right above the words Lenin, which is in like bold red right there, which you can't really see too well, that's actually a balcony on the front of the Lenin Mausoleum, and that's where Soviet premiers would stand to watch the Victory Day parades of yore, back during the times of the Soviet Union. So, apparently this thing has to be for security, otherwise I'd assume that for cost-effective reasons, they would just stand on top of the Lenin Mausoleum again, because that would make the most sense. But moving us on out of that little clip right there, we also were able to see that the President of the United States weighed in as well. I am pleased to announce that there will be a 3-day ceasefire May 9th, 10th, and 11th in the war between Russia and Ukraine. The celebration in Russia is for Victory Day, but likewise in Ukraine, because they were also a big part and factor of World War II. This ceasefire will include a suspension of all kinetic activity and also a prison swap of 1,000 prisoners from each country. This request was made directly by me, and I very much appreciate its agreement by President Putin and President Zelensky. Hopefully it is the beginning of the end of a very long, deadly, and hard-fought war. Talks are continuing on ending this major conflict, the biggest since World War II, and we are getting closer and closer every day. The problem with the statement, though, is that the beginning makes it sound like it's a complete and absolute ceasefire for 3 days. There will be a 3-day ceasefire, which generally means the ending of shooting on all fronts for every reason on the 9th, 10th, and 11th, which is 3 days, in the war between Russia and Ukraine. That's not happening. The only ceasefire that's happening is that Ukraine isn't blowing up Red Square. That's it. Everything else is still a game and on the table. So this is a very much so, from what we can tell by the presidential decree of Ukraine, a significant misrepresentation of the facts.
And also remember, like, the definition of a ceasefire in the eyes of the U.S. officials right now is a little bit unclear, because they're saying that we still have a ceasefire with Iran, but obviously there's shooting going on between the U.S. Navy and the Iranian forces, so that's really not a ceasefire. So it's really unclear what they mean by a ceasefire at this point. The language itself is being called into question these days when it comes to announcements like this. So Zelensky put out a tweet seeming to verify this, but then they put out that decree saying that it was only going to encompass Red Square after that. So I mean, I don't really have much faith in this whatsoever. And also, by the way, like, notice this as well: a complete lack of a mention of the fact that Ukraine just had a ceasefire, or was trying to do a ceasefire, and Putin blatantly violated it several times during that ceasefire. And now Putin's demanding that his ceasefire during the May 9th Victory Day parade be adhered to. And there's no mention of that whatsoever here in this tweet from the U.S. president, that the fact that Putin broke it several times over the last 72 hours.
Yeah, it's something else. But, I mean, they do know what a ceasefire is, because right here it says, this ceasefire will include a suspension of all kinetic activity, which means shooting of any type, of any way or any sort, which would include drones, frontline firefights, and all that. The Ukrainians didn't agree to this, by the way, folks. Like, the presidential decree of the president of Ukraine says that the ceasefire is only going to include Red Square. It didn't say we're having a ceasefire with the Russians on all fronts in every way for 3 days. If that was the case, the Ukrainian presidential decree would have stated that. The Ukrainian presidential decree is saying we're having a ceasefire for the 9th of May only after 10 a.m. on the specific spot around the Red Square because of purposes. That's it. So I think that this is a heavy misrepresentation right here of what this upcoming ceasefire will be, and I have a feeling that this might be for a reason, because maybe the Ukrainians go back to heavy drone strikes on the 9th of May tomorrow, which they will. The president's going to say that they're breaking the ceasefire when the Ukrainians never agreed to a ceasefire this comprehensive.
Yeah, we'll have to find out whether or not that's the case or not, but, it's kind of weird that when Putin wants a ceasefire, it gets to happen, and then when Zelensky wants one, it doesn't happen, and nobody ever mentions the fact that Putin just violated the one that Zelensky wanted. So, a little bit unfair, but that's pretty much the way it is these days.
Yeah, I suppose so. Meanwhile, that major oil fire in Perm is kind of finally dying down a little bit. You still see that there is smoke coming from it, but not as badly as it once was. Yippee and hooray. Moving us on from that fire, we've also seen that over the course of the day, Russian authorities are preparing by shutting down the internet. Not only in Moscow, but in a couple of other oblasts as well, from what we could tell. We've also been able to hear that there were some attacks on Bryansk today. There's the report right there from the Bryansk Oblast of the drones over the city. And we also were able to hear that additionally, there were a couple of drones heading to Moscow today. Only 20 of them, but they were heading directly towards Moscow. So giving the Russians a little bit of a fake out just about 12 hours before the Victory Day parade is supposed to begin, and also to mention all the areas where major drone attacks were conducted today: Crimea, Moscow, Kursk, Bryansk regions, and also Dagestan and Chechnya all came under attack over the course of the day. Speaking of send to Dagestan 3 years and forget, you're certainly not forgetting if you sent your kid to Dagestan for 3 years and forget. You need to remember right now, because that place is under a massive attack. Air defenses were active over the course of about several hours as Ukrainian drones came in and continued to hit the Russian port of Kapisk, or Kaspisk actually, which we can see in this clip right here.
Kapisk. Look at this.
Man, honestly, I like that name better than Kaspisk. I mean, it is Kapisk.
Man, looks like they're taking Kapisk. It looks like they're in some trouble. I see the spotlights have been broke out.
Man, it's like World War II out here.
I don't see the fire, but I hear it.
I hear it's like the crackling of popcorn out there. Oh! Now we can see a little bit of it. Oh, bubbly. Oh!
Oh, look.
They're really lighting it up.
Oh, wow. Look at that. They got it's like the haunted tracers.
Ooh, spooky! It's the tracers of a dying country. Of course they're gonna look spooky, but we also got to see this clip as well. Opa! And then we got another one of the continuation of the drones blade. Actually, yes, there we go. Actually, we've seen these two. They were just
duplicate.
Yeah, these are duplicates, actually. And then we got to see this clip here, which ain't no duplicate. Let's take a gander.
Это пули?
Oh, man. Oh!
Это пули?
Oh, wow. Oh, damn! That's a spray and pray for sure right there. They're firing everywhere. Dang, dude! Oh my god! I don't hear it hitting anything. Not yet either. I haven't heard it myself. I haven't seen them shoot anything down yet, though, either, so, Good lord! Man, I'll tell you what. Dang, that's crazy as hell. The Dagestanis, what is it? Is that how you say it? The Dagestanis? Is that how you say the people of Dagestan?
Yes.
So the Dagestanis, they're apparently good at hand-to-hand combat. Like, obviously, there's quite a few in the UFC and also other combat sports like that. But apparently, they can't aim worth a damn. It looks like they don't know how to use a flat cannon to shoot down anything coming into their skies. So they can't quite brawl. They can't wrestle the drone. But they're trying to learn how to fire.
Man, honestly, I think you're right. So remember, folks, if you want to send your kid to Dagestan 3 years and forget, if you ever think they're going to come back with any sort of marksmanship skills, you just forget about that. Maybe they'd be able to give you a nice punch to the jaw, but there is going to be no accuracy whatsoever in their fire. Meanwhile, over in Grozny in Chechnya, we were able to see that an FSB building was hit by Ukrainian drones today. Sounds like hell out there, and it's about to become hell.
Oh, man, the birds. Oh, man, the birds. Man, that was coming.
Man, the birds have this premonition. They're like, something bad is happening, man. Like, get out of here. Also, we got to see that one Ukrainian was taking a leisure stroll over the city today in his recreational light sport aircraft that just happens to have a 500-pound bomb inside of it. He was going to Dagestan for 3 years to forget. I have a feeling they didn't forget. But anyways, moving us on out of Chechnya and Dagestan, it's now time for us to get on over into Latvia. There is an ongoing possible incursion around Rezekne once more, as the National Militia of Latvia has stated. Possible threat in Latvia's airspace. The National Armed Forces report there's a possible threat in Latvia's airspace in the Rezekne and Luca municipalities. The National Armed Forces, together with NATO allies, continuously monitor the airspace to ensure the ability to respond immediately to potential threats. The National Armed Forces have strengthened air defense capabilities on the eastern border by deploying additional units. As long as Russia's aggression in Ukraine continues, a recurrence of such incidents where a foreign unmanned aerial vehicle enters or approaches Latvia's airspace is possible. For attention of the residents, seek shelter indoors, close windows and doors. Follow the two-wall principle. If you spot a low-flying, suspicious, or dangerous object, do not approach it and call 112. If you see Sergei Lavrov on the broom, make sure to call 112. We will inform you when the threat has ended. And right now, a lot of people are wondering what this is. What is it? This is the second time this has happened over the course of a couple of days. And Matthew, what are people thinking about it? And what are you thinking about it?
Okay, so Latvia suffered another drone incursion from Russian territory just hours ago. So what do you think is happening? And it looks like 71%. Excuse me, goodness me.
Bless you,
Thank you. 71% said Russia's sending drones into NATO. 14% said Ukrainian drones are going rogue, and that's what it is. 6% said I'm 50-50 on the question. And I would say, at this point, it is almost certainly Russian drones. And it has to be at this point, because if it was a one-off, I might have said it was maybe Ukrainian drones. But we have heard some Latvian officials claim that it could have been Ukrainian drones, but this is indicating it's Russian. And the Latvians are not wanting to acknowledge that, it appears like. They're trying to pretty much gloss this over for the most part, probably because they don't want an escalation, I would imagine. So they're letting the drones fly in, they're not shooting them down, and they're letting them crash in their territory, kind of like we've seen in Romania, which is another NATO country as well. So I'm with the 70%. It's Russia, and this is a big step, but it's not getting headlines though, because Latvia won't officially acknowledge the fact that it's Russian. But Enforcer, what say you?
I would have to agree with the 70%. I believe it's Russian drones entering NATO. This is now the second time in just, I believe, 2 or 3 days that we've seen this, and it is a pretty concerning sort of a development. Much like in Romania, however, they're not taking this seriously, and they're not reporting it for what it is, and because of that, no one's really responding to it, which is very unfortunate, very aggravating to say the least. But hopefully we'll see that eventually there will be a response to all of these acts of aggression at some point in the future. But moving us on from that, folks, it's now time for us to get on into the front lines in Ukraine. And before we do have to show you this really sick Iris-T air defense system.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. I like that little short chassis on the truck right there. That's the type of truck right there you want to go mudding.
Man, this thing honestly looks like a Slam. Let me see if I can pull one of those things up. The Slam, let's see, air defense. Let me go get this. The Slam Ram. Yeah, oh, these things are so cool. I honestly think these things are really neat, but they're not around a lot. But that's a Slam Ram right there. It's just a Humvee with a cradle on the back that carries AIM 120s.
Oh yeah, that's the way I like it right there. Putting missiles where they don't belong. That's what I like to see.
Man, it's sick. Like, it's so cool. Oh, that's War Thunder. Look at it. Oh man, that's just neat, honestly. That's so cool. You get AMRAAM capabilities on a Humvee. Imagine the possibilities.
This is like America delivered.
Man, it's sublime, really. But I do have to admit, folks, that Iris T is looking really nice right now. Really cool. I really like the Iris T one. And honestly, man, the length of the chassis on this thing, kind of like a Unimog, really.
Yeah, it kind of is with a short wheelbase, but I don't think it is. It looks like it could be like an Iveco or something like that. Maybe. I'm not sure though. I can't see the front of the truck. Is there another picture or angle of it?
Sadly, no. This is the only one we have. I think it might be a MAN. You know, like an MAN.
It could be. It's one of those European truck brands like that because it has that cab like design on it right there. So yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, but a really neat little system altogether, and a rare glimpse at it too in Ukraine. We also got to see the Russian casualty report over the past 24 hours, and holy moly, another Bobcat, Leah!
Just one Bobcat, I'll take it.
And of course, we will always take every Bobcat, even if it is just one Bobcat. But according to Ms. DC, keeper of the records, the report is as follows. 334 vehicles destroyed is the third highest daily loss. 91 artillery systems is the 10th highest, and 5 anti-aircraft is the highest in 2 months, and ranks as 5th. And 8 ground robotic complexes is the third highest, new category not shown, unfortunately. But, over the past 24 hours, the Russian Federation has taken 1,130 wounded and killed, along with 17 APCs, 334 supply trucks, 1 main battle tank, 91 artillery pieces, that's very nice, 1,817 drones, 2 MLRSs, 5 anti-aircraft warfare systems, and 1 Bulbakin system. All in all, a pretty good day, and of course, a beautiful and wonderful thing to see. Moving us on out of the casualty report, it's now time for us to get to a little bit of frontline news that we got for the day. Up there near to the area of Konstantinivka, the 93rd Mechanized Brigade was using its drones to strike and destroy Russian forces. A little bit of a frenzy, if I do say so myself. Targeting main battle tanks.
Look at them go. Look at them go.
Whoa, look at that boiler. Whoa. Honestly, most Russian tanks are boilers these days. You know, they get pretty hot on the inside, like a Dutch oven. We also get to see up there on the northern flank of Prokrovsk that the 8th Special Forces Regiment, 1st Detachment, did conduct an assault today on some Russian positions within the area and was able to clear out the area of the Occupante. Boy. We see them doing their work here quite impressively. Moving on into the little nest that the Russians have made for themselves in the tree line, and clearing it out with grenades and rifle fire being directed into the dugouts. You see them tossing grenades to each other via sharing is caring, and continuing to lay down heavy explosives inside of those little dugouts. There goes another.
Outdoors? Always make sure to carry.
And just popping some rounds in there as well to make sure that the grenade is joined by a couple of pellets of lead.
Nature in nature. Carry in.
They're meeting quotas. Oh, that guy just tripped and almost broke his ankle. Like you saw the dude, he almost tripped and fell over that log.
Crazily enough, a lot of people always think that tripping is kind of goofy. We've seen so many people trip in the war in Ukraine. It's about as common as just walking, really.
Yeah, and you gotta watch out. Let's see here. Ukraine. Does Ukraine have snakes? Yeah, there are snakes in Ukraine. They got the common viper, the steppe viper, Nikolsky's viper. While venomous, they're generally not aggressive, rarely fatal to adults. They only bite in self-defense. But yeah, they are out there, so they could trip and fall on a snake.
Man, well, actually, man, when the Russians are wandering around in Ukraine, they go into their little dugout. They're like, "It looks like this one has been occupied, but it looks pretty good." And then they hear someone go, They go, huh? And like a snake comes out from the side of the wall, like bites him. It's a Ukrainian snake blade. But moving us on down to the town of Prokrovsk after that corny joke that didn't have a laugh track to accompany it, which made me feel quite awkward.
I'm not a laugh track.
Hey man, I'm a laugh track for you, buddy. I'm always there for you. I'm always there for you. Rep 214, rep the set. But anyways, we also get to see the Ukrainians. Well, I was just trying to do something to move on, but we can see the buggy getting hit, along with a Lotta carrying a dreidel. Hopefully
a dreidel? Oh, yes. Rampage. Oh,
man, what a clip. They got him, though. They got him for sure. Moving us on from that clip and on into Pokrovsk, we also got to see the 152nd Separate Jaeger Brigade also using its drones to target and destroy Russian forces in the broader area of Pokrovsk.
I think this building right here is in perfect shape. I don't see any rust anywhere on the building.
Man, you know, honestly, I don't either. It looks pretty nice. Honestly, it looks like an average building in Detroit.
It's a rustic build, a fixer-upper.
No, look at this. I know what I got.
Man, the Russians just set up these little, like, bullhorns everywhere, whatever these are.
Man, little signal relays. Hopefully. Oh, they kind of missed that one, but I guess it counts, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, moving us on out of that clip around the Pokrovsk area, we also get to see that now near the southern front, the 23rd was also taking down Russian drones. Every single one of them's got to have their absolutely baller intros and outros. We see him blowing it up right there and getting another bleed. Bam! And the third one bleed. And, bam. And that's the end of that clip. But nice to see. Moving us on from that and on into the other clip that we got from the Zaporizhzhia front, we also got to see the 46th Air Mobile Brigade destroying Russian forces around the Novopavlivka direction. Oh, bleed. Opa.
Oh. Man, this reminds me, you know those little ant farms and stuff that, you know, the kids, they like put the little dirt in it and stuff like that, they put the ants in it. And then there's always like atrocities that occur on the ant farm. It kind of reminds me of that, the way they're setting their trenches up.
Man, honestly, man, Ukraine's kind of like that kid that comes by the ant farm and shakes the whole thing up and kind of buries the ants. Like they kind of do that to the Russians about every day of the week. But moving us on out of the front lines, it's now time for us to make it to Kyiv to cover the speech by the President of Ukraine, President Volodymyr Zelensky, here on this day of 1536 of the war. And so, without further ado, here is the speech. He went out today for outdoor activities, and he is making the speech in the middle of the woods. So here is the speech.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці. Сьогодні наші воїни, бойові бригади, 31-ша, 67-ма механізовані, 20-й армійський корпус. Хочу вам подякувати, воїни. Зараз, 8 травня, коли більшість світу згадує та вшановує пам'ять воїнів Другої світової війни, тих, хто розбив нацистів, треба відчувати, що сьогоднішні російські нацисти, вони продовжують свою війну та все ще намагаються повернути ті самі божевільні порядки, які програли у Другій світовій. Наш захист проти російського вторгнення – це захист не тільки однієї України, це не тільки захист нашої незалежності. Росія погрожує майже всім своїм сусідам, всій Європі, а не комусь одному. Саме в таких лісах, на таких землях, як ці на Дніпровщині, на сході нашої країни, на Донбасі, Харківщині, Сумщині, також на Чернігівщині, попередні покоління українців билися проти окупанта у Другій світовій. Зараз тут наші українські герої захищають життя народу, право народу на життя, захищають від цього російського окупанта, який так схожий на того з 20-го століття. Ми обов'язково захистимо життя України, захистимо нашу незалежність, без сумнівів. Сьогодні тут у нас багато роботи з бригадами. Я вдячний за чесність в оцінках. Ми розуміємо, що треба більше НРК, більші характеристики НРК. Ми будемо старатися ще додати фінансування. Зокрема, щоб бригади могли доопрацьовувати свої розробки і щоб прямо тут, на місці, під конкретні завдання, оперативно робилося все необхідне. Я дякую кожному воїну та всім нашим командирам. командирам, які справді креативні у розробках і креативні в своїх рішеннях. Все, що допомагає захищати життя наших воїнів, знищувати окупанта, все буде підтримуватись. Ми зафіксували наявні дефіцити в постачанні. Я приведу ставку по тому, що сьогодні ми обговорили, ми детально говорили про логістику всіх типів, це забезпечення наших позицій, а також такі речі, як ремонт доріг на всій території поруч з фронтом. Дніпровщині, зокрема, треба над цим попрацювати більше. Якість доріг – це швидкість порятунку поранених воїнів передусім. Важливі речі також були щодо захисту Нікополя та Марганця, дуже важка загроза дронів. Окрема увага Донеччині, ключовим напрямком оборони в регіоні. Я дякую всім, хто б'ється заради України, усім, хто захищає державу і пам'ятає про побратимів, допомагає і дбає. Ще кілька речей. Багато зараз нових погроз від Росії, хоча ми дали цілком логічну та зрозумілу для них позицію. Ми будемо діяти абсолютно дзеркально. Сьогодні вони почали добу з обстрілів на фронті, була штурмова активність, застосовуються дрони. Вчора вони завдавали ще більше повітряних ударів, були наші дзеркальні відповіді. А завтрашній день залежить від того, що ми почуємо сьогодні. Також вже була доповідь Умєрова після зустрічі в Америці з представниками президента Сполучених Штатів, з Віткофом і Кушнером. Було змістовно. Ми розраховуємо, що допоможе посилити наші позиції, гуманітарні питання. Треба їх вирішувати, треба звільняти людей з полону. Це дуже важливо. Дуже сподіваємось, що все вийде. Слава Україні!
And with that, this is the end of the speech from the President of Ukraine here on day 1536 of the news from around the world. And with that in mind, folks, it is time for us to move on into the second segment of this stream where we get to talk to each and every single one of y'all. And I gotta say, folks, that it's been an absolute blast to be able to cover the news for all of y'all once again tonight. We've had a peak viewership here tonight of about 16,000 people and a total viewership over the course of 2 hours and 20 minutes of 100,000 people. I've got to say that we're entirely honored and greatly appreciative to know that so many of y'all continue to watch this channel and consider it to be your primary source of news, because we love to know that we are, for many of y'all, your primary source of news. I hope that once again tonight we've been able to make sure that our factuality and news reporting is as up-to-date and accurate as it can be, and hopefully the analysis has been of sound quality and logical construction. And so with that in mind, folks, it is time for us to get on into all those questions, and we'll be able to talk about anything and everything except for religion, politics, climate change, or whether the A-10 is relevant in modern warfare. And so, Matthew, please take it away. What do we've got?
Alright, so with that, folks, just now time for the final question segment of the night. It's time to get to our super chats, our live chats, and our Morse code encoders of the night. But in the meantime, though, we're waiting to see. Oh, what was that? Excuse me?
I was just going, hey!
I don't think I heard my end was. I was like, hopefully it's okay over there. I was about to say, pour some vodka out in honor of the May 9th Victory Day parade right here. Who knows what's going to happen? When is that going to happen? Do we have a time translation of when that's going to start in our time zone, like for this May 9th parade? Because they're on obviously a completely different time zone. It's Russia, obviously, so it's kind of like a blatant statement there. But do we know what the time when it's going to happen?
It's going to start at 10 a.m. in Moscow time, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be about like 3 hours after we go off of air. If the stream is like 3.5 hours to 4 hours long, so it's going to be a little while after our show.
So right now it's 7:21 a.m. in Moscow, which means right now they are probably drinking extra heavy because it's only a couple of hours before the parade starts. They're probably crapping brick right now. Probably crapping bricks. They're calling the genders in for an early shift today. They have a cleanup on aisle 1. But anyways, moving on from that, we're going to be keeping an eye out to see if we can hear anything about this. But maybe not on the stream tonight, but almost definitely tomorrow we'll definitely know something. But this one here goes to Wisdom07, who puts in a $50 support. And thank you very much, Wisdom, for that $50 support. They said, hypothetically, if Ukraine were in the same position the U.S. is in right now, would its drone warfare capabilities be enough to clear the strait?
In a way, it could, but they would still have a fairly difficult sort of a position. Because dealing with blockades, or generally the laying of minefields, is something that you kind of have to be
Made
preemptively before they
a
had.
raspberry
And that's kind of the
cocoa
issue that we have right now is that
coffee,
poor planning and poor
ashwagandha
strategy
tea,
has kind of
green
led us
tea.
into a very tough to recover from sort of
It's
a
really
situation
good.
that we're in right now. So, gotta be honest, if the Ukraine, even with the Ukrainians having their drone
Yeah, we're gonna
capabilities,
do a quick just for today. It is cool, yes it is. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Alright, we're gonna do May 7th, 8th, and 9th. Alright. Show them the way, May 7th, page 127. The Navy transport General Maurice Rose served as a carrier to more than 1,000 exhausted birds which had gotten off course while flying up the Atlantic coast. While the ship was 300 miles at sea, the birds swooped down on her decks, refueled with her food, then took off again into the skies. There are thousands of people who are off their right course, just drifting along, not to the true meaning of life. Rich or poor, they have nothing to cling to. Be on the lookout for those who need what you have. You can help them find their way. If they know they can turn to you for help, they will. Be gentle, loving, patient with them. They need kindness more than anything else. He that shall do and teach, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:19. But sometimes, Lord, guide me so that I may lead as many people as I can to your kingdom. May 8th, page 128. You are important. The flower vendor on the boulevard wasn't doing any business. Suddenly a happy thought struck him. He put out a sign with these words on it. The gardenia will make you feel important all day long for 10 cents. At once his sales began to increase. The sense of importance that most incline to is outshine others. The most sense of importance that most inclined to is to outshine others. To attract attention from others rather than give it. This is plainly selfish, and those who strive for this type of importance never get enough of it. On the other hand, anything that can effectively remind an individual of his own true importance should be encouraged. Before anyone can go far in working for the good of all, he must realize that he counts before God and man, that all of humanity is simply himself multiplied many times. Yes, that is a sense of importance that can do much to stir up a sense of purpose. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Matthew 10:30. O Jesus Christ, help me to realize how important I am in your sight. May 9th, page 129. It's all in the point of view. The young English teacher was working in her garden one Saturday afternoon. One of her 12-year-old pupils walked by her gate. Noticing that the child looked upset, the teacher called to her. The little girl told of a tremendous disappointment which she thought would ruin my life. The teacher then took the child into her kitchen. She put up some water into a cup and held it out. Is this cup half full or half empty? She asked. Why, it's both, the girl replied. Yes, it is both, said the teacher. No one's cup of life is full and no one's is empty. Each of us have some happiness and some sorrow. A life is sad or happy, depending on how one sees the cup. Most of us are too concerned about our troubles. The more we think and talk about them, the bigger they become. Eventually, we see only the bad side of life and forget the many blessings God has given us. You shall be made sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. John 16:20. O Lord, help me to make use of the good you gave me in overcoming the problems that burden me. You're welcome. Thank you.
So there was a Norfolk Southern Yard. This was my favorite. This was Norris. And then they had Boyle's Yard up here. This was CSX. And then up here they have, I think it's called the Bailey Yard, which is for BNSF. And I mean, all of those are way bigger than the biggest rail yard in Turkmenistan by far. And so the Iranians will never be able to handle any amount of feasible rail traffic because it takes a lot of infrastructure like that to be able to actually run high volume freight train cargo runs on a single main line. You can't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to use this backwater railway route that has no infrastructure as a main line. You literally can't do that. You've got to build out all the infrastructure for it first. So the Iranians have been fibbing hard with that one of, oh, we're just using trains. It's like hell you are. It's like, and also on what? Turkmenistan rails? Like those things are probably hardly even upkept. Like if I was really thinking about it. I mean, I don't know if they have a street view down there. Maybe they do. No, they don't because it's Turkmenistan. Let me go up to Uzbekistan, and let me find a rail line here because it passes through here, I believe. Let's see here. Let me just pull up a picture here. Let's see, Turkmenistan railroads, and let's pull up an image of this because I'm very. Yeah, like hell they're using that to get to China. Like, that's literally like peak decay. That's awful.
Yeah, they're using that to get to China, all right. You gotta roll out on the rust bucket.
Bro, they're gonna roll out on tracks that aren't even ballasted. Like, these are literally sinking into the soil.
Yeah, I don't think they're using this junk.
Yeah, dude, you run like maybe like 10 extras on the schedule over this a day. That rail is getting buried under the ground in about a month, maybe. Like that's not usable. This is not usable. Like the Iranians are a lot like the Iranians are bullshit.
So wait a minute. So when the Iranians were saying, "Oh, we have like a supreme tier level train system," they were talking about this garbage.
This is Turkmens. I don't know about Iranians. Let me pull up Iranian railroads and let's see if we can get some pictures of that.
Now let's see that real quick. Right here, I'm trying to see. Is it the same garbage that they got there?
Look at that!
Oh my goodness. Where's their cargo? Is this cargo?
This is a passenger train. But do they not even ballast anything out here in like Central Asia? Like everything's just literally they just put the rail ties and the rails on just like hard soil and they just hope, I guess, that it works. Like I can't believe that. Hold up, here's. Oh, dude, there are no like. Good lord. Yeah, there's these.
Man, let's see. Like punch in Iranian cargo train or like something. Let's see what that looks like. I'm trying to see. Oh, no, bro, that's garbage. That's garbage.
That's it. Like it's over. They're cooked. They're cooked, man. Like there's no hope. Brother, what's that, brother?
Yeah, I don't think their train system's getting much work done on it. I don't think.
Oh my god. They ballasted this one, but I bet you it was just for the propaganda pictures because none of the other pictures from Iran do they have ballasted rail. And like the thing that I'm making like a big emphasis on the ballast part of the rail is because a railroad is only part rail and part cross tie, which is what the train actually rides on. A lot of it is the surface on which the railroad's built on. And all railroads in America have ballasting because ballasting fixes the rails in place and also creates a very steady road bed that allows for a much smoother track surface, which allows for higher speeds, less inefficiencies, less wobbling, and a smaller chance of derailment. The fact that Iran has no ballasting in most of their country tells me there's no way they can move anything over their rail network long-term in large volumes because their rails are so questionable. Like in how they've been constructed, they just can't handle anything. That's just the fact of the matter. I mean, and also, they're using like last century like Alcos. Like Alco went out of business in the late 1960s, and that is an Alco. I can tell you all that.
Well, man, they were using Tomcats. They're using Tomcats from a different era, like for their planes for the military. So I don't think they have the best and nicest stuff. I think they've got, second rate, like low rate, like only the lowest rate. They call them third rate, a rag. That's what they call them, a rag. As you see here, it's a train system that could see better days. Oh, look at this! This is a beauty. Look at that. I got a fresh paint job. As you can tell, it's got that faded green. That's a new color. They're called faded green. They have a code on the side. It says ATF or something on the side. Sounds like gun control. Sounds like something nasty. But yeah, it's a train. Look at that, man. He's proud of it too. Oh, we gotta do a little rabbit hole real quick on the Rands Railways, because I think we've done this maybe very briefly before, but
what you need is a cage.
Wow. They only have 2 main lines in their country that are double tracked. One from Combe to Mashad, and then another one from Bath, which I've never heard of before, to Bandar Abbas. Everything else is single tracked in their whole country.
So this is what I'm gonna do.
Pitiful. There's more double tracked mainline in Texas than this. Like, that's just sad. Like, this is legitimately pitiful looking. So what in the world do they have?
Okay, so
Or,
yeah, the
let's see
maple
here.
sugar drizzle one smells.
I need to see what type of rolling stock do they have. Rail transportation in Iran? Do they give us the rolling stock that they use nowadays? Because I feel like it's mostly vintage, like really bad garbage.
Let me chill for
Let's see. Oh no, they don't have no high-speed rail. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, like that's going to go high-speed on that track.
Here is what's called hyperbole. It's called something of a little bit of an exaggeration. That's what they say. It's also known as a lie, if you want to call it that. A brand new word called a lie. You gotta be something familiar with that. It's like a little bit crazy the way you just lie. It's a beautiful thing depending on who you are. But as you see though, it's looks like Iran's having a train run on it, and it's they need to learn how to do that better because it's looking ugly. It's ugly, so ugly.
Oh, here we go, everyone. We finally got the manufacturers and the types that they use. And we can already see that by the time that these things are introduced, we're probably in for something. And EMD... Oh my god!
Yogurt is so good.
Oh!
This looks like it could belong in a scrapyard. He said, sir, send it to the scrappers, sir. Let them rip it up. Let them tear it up. That's a nasty looking thing.
Oh my
Look, they put a brand new coat of paint on that. That's what landlords like to do to make things look new, to charge the rent higher. That's what they do. They put a little paint job on it. That's what they do.
Oh my god, they're still using U-30s. This stuff, folks, was retired in America in, like, the early 70s. Like, that's how old the stuff is that it had been in service by, like, 20 years or so by the 70s. I can't believe this stuff. This is... Wait a minute, they got C-30s, though. That's weird. I'm not gonna lie, Iran's railways are whack. Like, I don't really know how in the world to make heads or tails of this, but... Wait a minute! Oh, wait, this is former. I was about to be like, they have steam engines? Like, I was gonna be like, what the hell? But this is some pretty rough stuff, folks. Like, this... That's bad.
Yikes. They could probably run a steam engine, sir. They said Iran's full of hot air, sir. They could probably run a steam engine with that. They could probably get free energy, long-lasting, no-limit energy from all that hot air and bullshit. But as you can see, though, this train here is quite ugly. They said, sir, put this thing down. Get it off the tracks. Get it off the tracks. Send it to the yard, sir. To the yard. That's what they say. You know, it's a yard. It's something with grass.
You see, everybody, we did this very smart thing back in the 1940s. We came up with this thing called the road switcher, which is the idea that the engine part of the train is very narrow and the control cab is really wide, so that way the driver can look forwards and backwards. So what Iran said is, we would like to fill out a special contract where the front forward-facing window looks straight at a giant air filter and it blocks about 60% of the field of view. That will really work. That'll work. Make sure to slap that one on.
Honestly, though, they're like that. I mean, Iran's not getting ahead with those. Like, they're not getting out of the hood with this one. They're staying trapped in the hood with this train system.
Also, if they were trying to deal with the higher rail volumes, they'd have to make the trains longer. And if the trains are this old, and I'd have to assume that they're worn out worse than some things out there. It's considering that they're worn out to hell and they're like 60 years old each. And they hardly have any tractive effort. How are they supposed to be able to pull long trains? Like, they can't. It's just not possible for these designs.
Yeah, I think it's propaganda. I think this is the end of the story with that.
Yeah, I think it is. But that was one hell of a rabbit hole right there, folks. And the Iranian railroads and the railroads of Central Asia are truly horrendous. I mean, that's like horror-inducing, really, how bad that is. But anyways, a big thanks to you for support of this channel to keep on running, Pretzel's Garage. And I hope that does answer your question incredibly well. And long live the Lee Spring Army, and thank you for enjoying another great night of news. And also, Richard Manier. Wait a minute, hold up. Rail gauges. Someone, Richard Manier just said they have different rail gauges. Oh no! Oh no! They do!
Oh, it is different? I thought they were the same. Somebody asked me that earlier in the chat, and I thought it was the same, but actually it is different.
Oh my god. Would you believe it? So this also makes it even worse, because that means that they have to change gauges. And what that means in short, folks, is that you would have to drive the train up to the border at Iran with Turkmenistan, and then you'd have to pull up all of your rail cars on your track, and they'd have to pull up all of their empty rail cars on their track, and you would have to transload everything. Every boxcar from Iran has to be unloaded and then reloaded into a Turkmen car, and all of the oil and everything else has to do the same thing. So then that also adds such a huge hurdle that it becomes completely economically infeasible to do that, because it's adding so much time to the process, and it's also costing so much to have people handle all of that and transload it into another rail car of a different gauge, which is broad gauge, not standard gauge. So yeah, that throws that whole thing out the window. I didn't even think of that until now. Big thanks to Richard Manier for saying that you're the one who just called my attention on that. They don't even have the same railroad gauges, so there's no such thing as just driving a train into Turkmenistan. They literally can't, because the gauges aren't compatible.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
A tragedy. Oh, but anyway, so that we are on to the next one.
And our next super chat goes to Salt, who puts in a $40 support. And thank you very much, Salt, for that very generous support as well. They said, take one from the chat, please, in LSA.
And big thanks to you for support, Salt K. We will make sure to take one from the chat in your honor. And along to the Lee Spring Army, and what do we got?
So this one goes to America. A very original name right there, by the way. I like that. They said, do you guys have any thoughts on the whole cruise ship thing? I think you're referring to that outbreak that happened on that cruise ship. It sounds to me like they sent everybody back to every corner of the globe off that ship, including some people back here to the United States. So I would say probably. I mean, the U.S. government's saying not to worry about it, but they also said that about the last little bug that was going around too. They were saying the exact same thing about that one, and then we know what that turned into. It turned into a horror film. The WHO is saying it's okay as well, but they also said about the last bug also as well. So me personally, I'm a little bit concerned about it. I mean, it seems like it's spreading
It's an
person to
isolated
person.
incident.
So I'm hoping we're not having a repeat of that last bug that came around, because that was a nightmare, to say the least. And that was a once-in-a-generation thing. So we can't have, like, two of them happen this close together. That would be like lightning striking the same place twice. That's bad luck to the extreme. But unfortunately, what say you?
I'd have to say I'm a little concerned about it, because I was kind of concerned about that whole COVID thing before it became a big deal. Like legitimately, like I remember when the news started coming out of China, they were shutting down ports. And I remember telling someone in school, because I was a senior at that time in high school, I said, that doesn't sound like that's a small deal. That sounds like a pretty big deal
like
if they're willing to do something like that.
Exactly.
And Matthew, you know the teacher I'm about to reference. It's that one that had the gray hair that was a little bit too smart for their own good.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
She chastised me, folks, because we were the bell had rung and we were switching classes, and I was just sitting down in her class, and I was telling someone, I was like, I think that's a pretty big deal that they just shut down the port of Shanghai. I think this COVID thing's about to become an international pandemic. And the teacher, what are you freaking kidding me? You're just some like white dude or something. You wouldn't know, blah blah blah. It's no big deal. And I was like, okay, I was like, I don't really take a lot of your word for anything, because it's like you might be a teacher, but you're dumb as bricks. So then it became an international pandemic, and then everything got shut down. And this one, I don't know yet, because there's always a new viral outbreak here and there. Like bird flu wasn't always a thing that you could get as a human, and now recently that started to become a thing. But I would say I'm a little bit up on the fence. We kind of need to see where it's going to go, because we start seeing rapid viral outbreaks like we did with COVID, then this could certainly become a very concerning sort of a deal. Right now, we don't really know how quickly this transmits from person to person, or how easily transmittable it is as an aerosol. We don't really know. I don't think we know that well yet.
Well, this one's scary for a couple of different reasons, and this is based on what I've heard so far. So take it as you will. I'm obviously not a doctor, so take that at face
Thank
value.
goodness
But
they got vaccinated.
it sounds like this current bug that's making the rounds, which is basically what I'm calling the rat virus to a large degree. And also, by the way, I would hate to get taken out by the rat virus. Can you imagine that on an obituary? Hey, Matt went down with the rat virus. I would rather have
He
anything.
rushed him with the rat pack. Oh man, like
I'd rather have anything. I'd rather have anything other than going down with the rat virus. But apparently, it has a fatality rate of roughly 35% to 50%. So obviously, that's not good, to say the least. That's quite horrific, actually. And also apparently has an 8-week incubation period, which means you're not symptomatic for 8 weeks, which is about 2 months. So I mean, that's horrible. I mean, that means you can be asymptomatic for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden you come down with it. You might have been spreading it the whole time. It sounds like a horror bug to me. Hopefully it doesn't start actually becoming a problem. They're saying it's not going to spread as easy. They're saying it's not that easily spread like the last one, so I'm hoping they're right.
I feel like about right now it would probably be a good thing for the United States to be a member of the World Health Organization and also give some more funding to the CDC here in the United States, so they could keep an eye on that and do all the research. But luckily, folks, thanks to the government inefficiency stuff that was being looked into last year, we removed ourselves from the World Health Organization because we were giving them a couple of million every year to do research, and we also generally cut the funding to the CDC. So luckily, we know that they know everything that they can because we don't have any research going on because of the lack of funding. Kind of like the whole forestry service thing, how we just axed all of their long-term research because we cut the funding to it and sent them all out here to Salt Lake and shut down all their regional offices. So I would say, folks, I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal. I'm going to wait to see how it goes because everybody's still kind of got that COVID fear in them because we all remember what that was like, having to be in quarantine and all that for basically a whole year because of that whole pandemic. So I think a lot of people are concerned about that, and hearing about this new hantavirus thing is kind of getting people remembering how COVID went. It might not go that way because remember, folks, I mean, there's been a load of viral scares over the years. There's been Ebola, there was SARS, there was a lot of them, and most of them didn't really turn into anything. For the most part, most of them were easily contained, or they didn't really spread too far, but they were really scary sounding because obviously it's new and it sounds like it's turning into something. So I would say it's something to keep an eye on. I'm hoping that it turns into nothing, but you never know until we start to see if this becomes rapidly spread or not. If it becomes rapidly spread, then we have a problem. If it isn't rapidly spread, then it should be fine, and hopefully we won't have to worry too much more about it.
Yeah, right now I'm just hoping it doesn't turn into anything serious. But I heard that Britain apparently has 2 people there that have been detected with it apparently. So apparently it can spread person to person, but hopefully it doesn't spread fast.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. I mean, maybe it won't. Is hantavirus a common thing here in America? Let's see, hantavirus, USA. Maybe there's a different form of hantavirus that's common. Let's see here. Hantavirus.
It's not supposed to spread person to person, though. It's supposed to just be with the rats.
Let's see. So here's the CDC on hantavirus right here. Let's see, hantavirus family virus is called serious illness and death. Let's see, it's spread mainly by rodents. The Andes virus is the only type of hantavirus that is known to spread person to person. This spread is usually limited to people who have close contact with the ill person. So this one, apparently, according to that description, isn't easily spread. And this was put out in 2024. So back then, we already knew the Andes virus of the hantavirus family was transmittable from person to person. So apparently this has been known for some time, and it's just that this cruise had a pretty big outbreak of it. And let's see, cause serious disease in people worldwide. People get hantavirus, especially when exposed to urine, dropping saliva, spread from bite or scratch by rodent, but this is rare. Symptoms are very bad, by the way. Like it's a pretty rough one if you get it. But generally, from what they're saying, though, it looks like this has been around for a little bit. Not like extremely common, but the Andes variant of the virus could be spread from person to person, and we haven't seen anything bad come out of it yet for 2 years since this was published by the CDC. So maybe it won't turn into anything, I'd hope.
Yeah, I hope not. Also, by the way, I scrolled down to the treatment and recovery section. It says there's no treatment for hantavirus infection. It says patients should receive supportive care, including rest, hydration, and treatment of symptoms. So that's not reassuring. So hopefully it doesn't spread. It sounds like it could be a really bastard. Like this really could be a bastard to start spreading. So hopefully it doesn't. But we're relying on the people who have been exposed to it to use common sense. I just saw an article a minute ago claiming that one of the guys that got off the cruise ship apparently went straight to a wedding after he got off the cruise ship. Hopefully the idiots don't go spread the thing around. It's like go home and sit at home for a while or something. It's like don't go to a public event.
Right. Someone was bringing up some well-known things with some of these trafficking lines we've been talking about, the activist groups, the drugs and the dogs, and we've lined up some of the dates and years and different things, hopefully in locations to help people connect some of the dots with those things. But also along some of those same lines, kind of in reference to what he's talking about a little bit. Someone just sent over some articles about certain drug batches on some of these lines, people being so aware. Yeah, they lace it, and it gets contaminated sometimes. It's either contaminated just naturally, fungus or whatever, but sometimes it is purposely laced with bacteria, viruses, or fungi. It does represent a severe public health threat. I don't know if you remember back, it was before COVID. Yeah, and it was pretty prevalent between 2008 and 2016. There was a few different operations done, and you'll notice that those people stuck out like sore thumbs because they were complaining about certain kinds of rashes. Really burned and itched, huh? And they were complaining to the doctors. Yeah, and one of the doctors, I remember, that was kind of aware, they ended up getting hit by a Mack truck and killed. Right. So, yeah, some of those batches were, and we tried telling the people. There was no secrecy, especially around here. And we're telling them, yeah, they're lacing batches. You're sticking out like a sore thumb. They're making fools of you. Yeah, and they want to be fucking pathetic, nasty pieces of shit and use our children as shields, and our youngest 2 children are in the hands of sick, murderous pedophiles when anyone cares. But anyways, it is a public health threat. These hazards, right, because then they're contaminated and they're around you and your children, maybe. Well, I guess that was some of the risks they were willing to take with those things. I mean, you have these things being done by means, individuals, corporations, who knows, right? I mean, so maybe someone's just bored. Let's see what happens if we do this. That'll show them. Right, because oftentimes the ones that get into those positions of the trafficking and stuff are also involved with trying to stop it. Well, at least certain distribution avenues, maybe. Right, because a lot of that stuff goes to our legal systems, right? They make drugs, morphine, oxycodone. Right, so they probably frown upon it being shifted off into certain areas too. Those same activist groups we've talked about, how they like to peddle and flood certain areas with drugs and weapons. Yeah, same exact kind of a thing. So the hazards generally occur due to manufacturing errors, poor quality control, or improper storage, which allow harmful microbes to compromise the sterility of pharmaceutical products. Right, and sometimes when they know it's contaminated, it's like just like anything else. We'll just put it out. Some will get sick and some won't. Yeah, you can see it's all documented too. A lot of the people write in those lines in their medical records, all complaining about the same kind of rashes and stuff. Symptomatic. Clean room failures. Deficient good manufacturing practices during formulation can induce spores or pathogens directly into sterile products like injectables, IV drips, or eye drops. Right, I know, and then we become a target to them as though we did it because we knew about it and tried telling them, and we're like, yeah, you're fucking idiots. Yeah, we've been targets of these motherfuckers our whole lives. Environmental leaks. Exposure to excessive heat and humidity can allow fungi such as aspergillus to grow in previously sealed or bottled liquid drugs. Illicit drug supply. Street drugs can be cut with tainted bulking agents or exposed to unsterile handling environments before sale, introducing a wide array of dangerous biological pathogens. Notable examples and risk. While contaminated drugs enter the market, the consequences can be devastating. Fungi meningitis outbreaks. One of the most infamous examples occurred when contaminated steroid batches from the New England Compounding Center led to widespread fungal meningitis and deaths. Bacterial infections. Unsanitary compounding processes and illicit drug lacing often induce hardy spore-forming bacteria such as Bacillus species or Clostridium botulinum that can cause severe localized wounds, tetanus, or systematic bloodstream infections. Systematic bloodstream infections. How to track and verify. Patients and healthcare providers can monitor for tainted batches by checking official health alerts and databases. Check for immediate official medical product safety alerts and recalls through the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Of course, when you're dealing with the illegal kind of drug trafficking lines and individuals cutting things, I mean, obviously, it's a little more of a murky. Right. Well, that's why, people push for regulation and easier access to people to get the medications that they're seeking as opposed to having to rely on pieces of shit on the street. Right. I mean, it's pretty simple. Review border emerging infectious disease tracking and pathogen warnings provided by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Yeah, and then over the years, the motherfuckers that have been red flagged go and target the ones who can get it prescribed to them. Yeah, it's very well known. Very sad, actually, when you look over the years. It's been very well monitored and tracked, and unfortunately, these things just don't get reported on. A lot of people in the mainstream seem to not even know it exists, and they're just like pushing out the fucking bullshit. Fear propaganda, mockery, name calling, very childish bullshit. Yeah, take the Botox, take your SSRIs, be cool like me. You sick motherfuckers. Yeah, it's insane. It's actually insane. But I don't know, maybe they can make some lighthearted jokes on Gutfield and tell you all about Putin and China, nuclear weapons. Tell us all about it, you dumb fucks. Anything else? Okay, we're going to watch our movie. We're watching Knock on Any Door. It's a Humphrey Bogart movie and John Derek. Someone just posted it the other day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome.
What about that bartender at the 380?
Thank you.
Punchy. He's been punchy for years. You ought to take a look at him.